What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the We Likey That podcast. We are excited to be with you. Episode number 4. Wild, we made it to episode number 4, and we're excited. We got a good topic today. Joined in stew today. In the stew, got the beans in the stew, being Mr. Cam. What's up, Cam?
Hey.
How are we doing this week?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Friday. Got off it early today. Got me this fresh little slicer and dicer on the side of my head, so I'm feeling like
nice.
a brand
For those just listening, it is the blurriest, prettiest. It's a good fade. It's a solid fade.
Shouts to Ashton.
Yeah, it's got some edges on it, my boy. Sharp.
Your neck goes all the way up.
Got that high neck.
That's
neck
for sure.
Neck goes to your forehead. Love it. Well, that's good. You're also rocking a clean stash this week. It is clean shaven.
Strong.
We won first.
Yep.
Summer of the stash.
Yeah, so
I
just want to put it on note. Mulvey's going to grow it soon, but this bad boy was being grown before I saw Top Gun. And everyone walks up to me and at the gym and everywhere, and they're like, "Oh, Top Gun."
Mine was too.
And I'm like, "Yeah, but
Top Gun guy?
no,
Yeah.
man. Like, this is what I chose before I even saw it." Okay. Also, there's one character in Top Gun with a stash. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
You've been a stash guy for years now. As long as you've been able to grow a stash, you haven't always had a stash, but over the years you've had them for long periods of time.
Yeah. When you grow,
even when the rest of us were trying to grow beards, you were like, "I'm just sticking."
Well,
with
it's all I've
Shame,
ever
man.
been able to grow. The rest of my
fair.
facial hair looks like a baby boy's. So I look like I'm walking into 6th grade English class with all the blonde little baby hairs on the side of my face.
when
looks good.
When Cam grows a stash, he unlocks a character for sure. Like
It is a
it's
different
it's a
me.
new
I'll
one.
say that.
Yeah,
People
it's
at
a
work were
different
like,
you.
"What happened?" Because like I just started
changed,
saying, like I said a lot of stuff that HR has probably been taking down, like notes on, and like I'm gonna hear about it here soon. So.
So,
good,
Mulvey,
brother.
speaking of facial hair, you've got probably the best facial hair of the three of us. You've been on that game. How are you doing this week?
Doing pretty good. Grew my first beard for No Shave November in high school and like my senior year, and I was like, "Oh, I can kind of grow a beard." And ever since, never looked back, you know. But
I will say your beard has markedly improved. It's like at the time when you first grew it, it was impressive because it was in high school.
Yeah.
And really any hair coming from your face in high school is
Right.
acceptable. And I think we look back on photos now and we've all learned and grown.
if it looked like that
changed.
now, I would do something different for sure. It would not be full.
You'd be clean shaven for sure.
Yeah. But it was nice, you know. I felt good about myself as I'm growing up, you know. But I'm doing pretty good this week, you know. Like Cam said, it's Friday. We usually record on Thursday, so it's nice. Got a little free
Vibes.
Yeah, a little free.
Friday vibes. For me, I'm not doing so great.
That's not good.
So
What's going on, brother?
We referenced Toby Keith last week,
did.
we talked about him at length. And I said his CD was the first one I ever bought. It's true. I had Toby Keith's greatest hits,
That is respect.
and I listened to it all the time. And I found out like this week after we talked about it, weird coincidence is Toby Keith's like on his deathbed. He's stage 4 colon cancer.
no.
Is that right?
T's and P's.
Stomach cancer.
That's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
T's and P's.
Did not know about that. I thought
And
he
for
was
those
rolling on strong.
first T's and P's to Toby. Sorry, Tobes. I
First
love
and
this
foremost.
bar. That song is so sick.
Yeah.
He says
That's a good one. It's a
Redskins in
classic.
it.
It's a great song.
Bleep that, but he does say Redskins. But
I don't know if I bleep it. I feel like they'll assume you said something different.
yeah, that's true.
That's
okay.
fair.
So for those that watch us on YouTube, I have to send out an apology because my rendition of Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue last week got us copyrighted, and so we couldn't put it up on YouTube.
It was stealthy accurate.
I was just too accurate with my singing, and so YouTube thought we were ripping off Toby Keith, which
Yeah, for the
T's and P's.
for the YouTube enjoyers, like this week was a nightmare in YouTube days. I typically try to upload at the same exact time as the pod, and like Cam said, we got copyright struck, and it had to be his perfect rendition of Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. But we could not figure out what it was. Anyway, we got it up, so if you've been waiting on episode 3 on YouTube, it is up. Watch it, then listen to this, or else you won't know what's going on.
That's
not
right.
True.
That's right.
They're very episodic. You could probably listen to any episode in any order, and you'd be fine. But
Listen
call
all.
back to the first episode. If you listen to the first episode, we talked about what would our call signs be, and we found out there's a Top Gun website that will tell you your call sign.
Sure will.
And so we'll go down the line. Mulvey, what's your call sign?
It's pretty accurate to me. It's called Blizzard. You know what I mean? I'm always running hot. I don't know why I live in Mississippi. It doesn't make any sense, but, I'm Big Blizz, as they say in the biz.
Big Blizz. Okay. And then Cam, what was yours? Yours was also accurate.
Yeah, mine
to you.
was pretty obvious what it was going to be. I don't even think I needed that simulator. Also, that simulator was like a BuzzFeed quiz. Like, it was
Pretty
just
much.
like, if you had to
three
choose
questions.
between brownies and pizza, we're going to decide which Friends character you are. And it's like, well, that's just not an
Yeah.
accurate test.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I
it
agree.
was very accurate for me, so I really can't knock it. But it was Inferno, which for those at home that aren't watching the YouTube, I do have quite the Inferno going around on my noggin.
Some of the reddest hair. You have very red hair.
It's gotten lighter
nice.
over the years, so
Funny.
now it looks even more.
It has, yeah.
Inferno. So,
Yeah,
muy
it's
caliente,
getting hotter,
as our friends down south would say.
Yeah, well, I will tell my call sign momentarily. I'm not happy with
Kurtz
it.
was lame.
And I know it's not good, and that's fine, and I can accept that not everybody gets a cool call sign. Mine is Hollywood.
Very Hollywood
Which
guy.
it was Superstar. I, in my brain, changed it to Hollywood. It was Superstar, which I hate. Imagine
That is worse,
you're in
yeah.
the air, and you're like, hey, Superstar. Like, it sounds like they're making fun of me.
Yeah, it's
actively.
cheeky for sure.
Yeah.
And so, not as cool. But you guys get like a cool team. You're like Fire and Ice.
Oh, dude, we
Yeah.
would be. Yeah, I'd be your wingman anyway.
Yeah, you don't want to see
Blizzy.
Fire and Ice coming your way. It's a problem.
Heck, no,
You know
bro.
what I mean?
They don't mix.
I'm the dude that has to stay on the carrier, and they're like, Superstar's going to
Superstar,
stay
come
behind
in.
because he's
Superstar's just over
Yeah.
there eating a sandwich.
just. I'm the janitor
Like
of the
Superstar
Top Gun
over there.
program.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave you one just to be nice and make
I
you
will
feel
say
good.
this. Did both of you guys play rec baseball here in our hometown
Oh,
of
yeah.
Brandon?
Heavy.
Nope.
Heavy
Y'all-
I was
rotation.
so bad at baseball.
That's
So bad. My dad, when I was in third grade, sat me down and said, "This is not your sport."
It's not going to happen.
Okay.
Baseball's a tough
Anybody
sport.
can join.
Let's just be
Anybody can play
honest.
rec baseball, too, if you just pay,
Yeah, that is true. It's hard to fail at.
And you still didn't
They
make the
stick
cut.
you
this
out in
time.
right field with a T-shirt on, and you're there.
Yeah.
Nope.
But there was this
Did
one
happen.
umpire, and I don't know if you guys have seen those videos of like the umpires in the Dominican Republic who, when they call strike three, they like circle around the batter and they're
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
like that,
Hate it.
Yeah.
Hate
Talk
it.
about
There
a
was
punch
this
out.
umpire called Hollywood. That was his nickname.
Ooh.
Was Hollywood.
Nice.
And he was this older gentleman who openly admitted being blind in his left eye. So his strike
Dude,
zone.
I know
was-
what you're talking about. I know
Yeah,
exactly
he had
what
a
you're
real
talking
raspy
about.
voice and be like, no, hold on, I'm blind. I'm blind in my
Yeah,
left eye. Anytime anyone would argue with him, he'd be like, I'm just out here to get paid. And when he was behind the plate, the strike zone was wider than the ocean. I mean, if you were throwing, if it wasn't hitting the dirt, it was a strike. Some
Yeah, I
days it
used
was
to
a
play
ball. Like he just never knew.
Yeah. I used to play catcher, and I wasn't framing anything. I was just like, yeah, it's going to be a strike. It's going to be a strike.
You knew the count the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. We're good, baby.
Hollywood, dude.
Don't
He's
worry.
a legend.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy was a G
Hollywood.
for sure.
But if they called him Superstar, you would know you were making fun of him because they'd be like, he's
Mm-hmm.
always trying to be the center of attention and nobody likes him. That's what Superstar says to me. It says that it's like the kid that you start calling, like you start calling him Superstar on the baseball team and he's bad at it. That would have been my nickname on the baseball team. So that, oh, here comes Superstar. And they would have been
batting ninth.
Batting night. Tough.
subber par.
Suburb ball.
Ooh.
Even better.
Puns.
It's a nice one.
Well, I'm glad everybody's doing good this week. We
Oh,
know
yeah.
our call signs. We're going to jump into we likeys and dislikeyes and tell everybody what we like, what we dislike for the week. And Mulvey, I do believe you're going to kick us off this week.
Oh yeah. I got a good one. So us three, rest of our friend group is going on vacation next week.
Gang.
It's our yearly beach trip. Very excited.
3 years running.
Yeah, we got a good legacy going on. You know what I mean?
I can't really do my pinky for the three, but three.
It's a loose three.
That is grotesque, bro.
But let me tell you, it's not looking good.
There's a lot of things going on
Big,
here.
thick boy. But I like vacations as an adult. Okay, when you take vacations as a kid, it's nice. I mean, you go to the beach or the mountains, you go skiing. It's fun. It's for sure fun, but the rest of your life is carefree, so it doesn't make a huge difference. But as an adult, that feeling of like you got to check a few boxes off before you leave, maybe at work or whatever. You get that last one done, and for a week or whatever, your responsibilities are gone, and
absolutely,
it's a fantastic feeling.
I'll say this:
I have anticipation for right now. Yeah,
I'll say this: I had a few things left, like in my inbox at work. And I told my boss, and he's like, just assign them to the other guys. And I was like, let's go. I just handed those things out like candy. I didn't even question them. I was like, are you sure? What if they don't? Nope. I just handed it to them. Didn't even explain it.
I will say, my job isn't one that like just turns off because I still got to do stuff. Like people will still call me. I will still have to answer questions and things like that. But vacation for me this year is extra special because I have a 6-month-old son and we're dropping him off at my parents' house
the fire station
time. And there's going to be several days of just pure night sleep where nothing is screaming at me to wake up. I don't have to worry about, and it's going to be
nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can make some gains at the beach just because of how well rested you're going to be. You know what I mean?
Your body's going to be
I'll be
at an all-time rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to know what to do.
Yeah,
it's not going to know what to do. It's your dislike.
Okay, this one's pretty good. So, those old dudes that whistle when they talk? Like, they'll just occasionally, like, talk and whistle? First of all, I just want to throw this out there. I love it. I love when old dudes do that. It seems
Give us
so
an example.
Good. But I have a... it's like when they say their S's, and I really can't do it. I've done it once on accident in my life. Like my wife's name is Sarah. My wife's name is Sarah, and I'm gonna be like Sarah just constantly. But I have a fear. I know that I would dislike it if I couldn't control it. Like I love when dudes do it. It is cute, bro. But like when I do it, I'm just not gonna enjoy it because it's just gonna come out of me like, oh, don't do it. But I do it every time. Yeah, and every time I get the hiccups because I get the hiccups for like an hour at a time. I don't get them often. When it's game over for me. It's like an hour. And I'm like, I think this is the rest of my life. I fear that every time because of that show and hate it.
Hiccups make me gag.
Oh yeah, I have seen that. Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah, it's bad. I get hiccups like once or twice a year. But recently I've gotten hiccups, and I don't know if I've just stopped being a little baby, but they don't make me gag anymore. Now I just deal with normal hiccups.
I like
getting dad, and
you said, I still think of it as like I'm a little kid and I'm growing a little centimeter every time. I still adhere to that theory. But I'm just like, oh,
that spine is just ratcheting up.
Yep. Back to this speech thing. We're going to the beach. Okay, it's been told. I've been trying to cut some LBs. I'll admit, I've been taking some pills to try to shed some of this water weight. Okay, yeah, just some B-ball. But
you're on kratom.
I took a quick trip to Trenton, New Jersey. You know what I mean?
Nice. It's a good spot. It's a good spot.
But no. So I've been fasting, and I wake up at 5 a.m. for work because I have to be there at 6. So I fast from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. And I got to tell you, by 10 a.m., my brain does not function. I've made up so many words in the last few days trying to say normal words, but my brain just can't spit them out because there's just nothing in me. I just have no energy left. So
yeah, I typically do intermittent fasting, just always, but I do open like once or twice a week and have to get up at 5. And yeah, by like 9, 10, I'm on death's doorstep for sure.
I consume so much caffeine. I don't eat until 12 every day.
Yeah,
I consume so much caffeine that I'm not even hungry by 12. Like it's unhealthy. I had over 500 milligrams of caffeine before lunch 2 days ago.
It's a couple bangs.
And it's tough. Right there. It's a tough looks for me and get out of this situation.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. All right. My likey this week is when the whole squad catches on to some slang. All your boys in the group text are saying the same thing. Recently,
just slanging that slang.
It has been called a fat. What is it?
Called a fat
stray. which
Yeah,
means
that's
like
right.
someone was insulting someone else and was like, you know what, that guy actually looks like that too, or something like that.
You're like,
It's
I
a
wasn't even
ricochet
in this.
shot. Yeah, like for every
Yeah,
speech impediment person, that Kurt just you just caught a stray from Kurt trying to do it.
fat
You were like, yeah,
Fat stray.
that back in high school, it was alt, which means nothing, but it just kind of means like dang or that's sick.
Oops.
Or
Yeah.
oh. But we all
Can
just
you
said
use it in
alt.
context so that people
so
at home-
hard.
'cause
Be like-
it's one of the dumbest
You got,
phrases
like,
I've ever heard.
Yeah,
and
it
I think
doesn't
it's so
really mean
funny.
it. It's like in high school would have been like, bro, did you see that Josh got yelled at by the teacher? And then everyone would be like, oh. Or it was like, dude, they got pizza for lunch today. Oh.
Oh,
It never meant
an all
anything.
used term.
And then it
Yeah.
like turned to yeet and art and alt. Like there was a lot of renditions of it, but yeah, it was like it was the most variably used. That's not a way to say a word. It was a very, very strong presence at Brandon High School during the years of 2012 to 2014. Everyone said alt about everything,
Yeah.
and it spelled
I really
OHT
wanted
for those at
to-
home.
OHT ought. I really wanted to have some lingo catch on. When I was in high school, I looked up a bunch of things that snowboarders say.
Nice.
Like front. They would describe things as front, as being cool. They're like, that's so front.
So
Dude,
front.
that's front. And like, I just wanted that to catch on. It never did. Everyone thought it was stupid. I said it like twice. You do the tester where you're like, it's pretty front. And people are like, shut up. Yeah, no, you're right. But I wanted that to catch on. The one that has been really making me happy lately, and I know it's old, but I still love it, is just drip. Drip to me is always funny. When
Yeah,
it's
it's
used
clean.
in context, like, oh, it's drippy.
You've been using
Like
stew
such a
a lot.
stupid.
Stew is I would consider stew.
We've
as
been in
that.
the stew.
Yeah.
We've been in the stew. Yeah, the stew is me attempting to get like something that starts every one of these off where people are like, oh, the boys are in the stew.
It's an attempt. It's the
So
same
he
thing. You're
openly
attempting
admits
to
he
get
openly
some
admits
slang
he's
going.
trying to brainwash you into thinking, oh, the boys are in the stew. We're back at it.
Boys are in the stew.
Hope it
Beans
works.
are in the stew. Beans.
The other slang, I'll stop after this, but the other slang I really like
enough slang.
Is like just all the words for like roasting someone, like greasing, frying,
Greasing.
like toasting,
Flamed up.
anything. Yeah, flamed up.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll say this:
Oh,
that
yeah.
fire has stuck around. Real like people still say
Yeah,
fire
good
a lot,
word.
and it doesn't get old like a lot of them. Like a lot of them get old, but
That's
I feel like
fire.
you can say something
Yeah.
fire, and it's still. And now it's like bussin', which it's kind of funny, but I mean, whatever.
Do it, bus.
It's so
I will
bus,
say,
the kids are saying.
I would
bus.
love to bring back. So I say dope and sick, and people make fun of me for it, but I say like
I
that's
did
dope.
too. Yeah.
I wish that obviously there's some terminology linked to it that we probably, with the awareness of the world that social media's brought. But I missed back in the day when we used to say things with pimp. Like when I was in
No
middle
fly
school,
zone.
I was like, that's pimp. I thought it was
Somehow
so.
that did become like a bad word.
It is. It is a bad. I mean, it's sex trafficking.
Yeah.
It's just bad.
It used to be the
I get
coolest
why
word,
we don't
though.
use it.
In your defense,
That's true.
But I don't. We're not using it that way. It's like it's pimp, bro.
A lot of like all this. We were a bunch of suburban kids saying it though. Like there was no
Yes.
reason for
Oh,
us
yeah,
to be
right,
saying
too.
that.
Sure.
It was kind of stolen valor.
Zero pimps around.
I think it might be too many consonants because it sounds like a bad word
Yeah.
when you say it.
3 out of 4.
Like 3 out of 4 are consonant. Pimp.
That was hard.
Yeah.
It feels like I should bleep it. Like it's a tough word. What's your
that-
dislike, Cam?
So my
It's like
dislikey, and I'm sure everyone on the world will agree with this, but I hate being bamboozled, and I'll just say it. I've
Flat out.
bought clothing online this week that has just let me down. Okay.
Yeah.
And I bought this hat that I thought was going to be sick. It was like this camo looking. It would look like normal like a vintage camo with like the Bass Pro Shop logo on it. And man, does it just look flabbergastingly ugly. Like it is disgusting looking. The camo is like the worst. Like it looks like someone took green and brown and white and just threw it at the hat paint. And then
Just splattered some paint, yeah.
then the logo says Old School Bass Shop, which the picture did not depict it saying that. So
It said Bass
it
Pro
just
Shop.
it just looks like a knockoff Bass Pro Shop hat that I won't ever wear. Okay, so
You're
I got
already
bamboozled.
$5, so knock off.
Yeah, like it was $15. Okay, it wasn't expensive, but it's still like the principle of like, show me what I'm buying. Okay, and then
Right.
so about 2 weeks ago, I got bamboozled by a TikTok ad that had all
It'll
these
do that,
vintage
yeah.
shirts, which I'm sure we've all seen this ad. Cameron is the one funding their ad campaign. I went, okay, they were $10. I was like, oh, surely I can give them a try. It's $20-$30 if I get. So I got online and I ordered this sweet Dale Earnhardt shirt and a couple other shirts. And I mean, they're fire. Like I could show them to you, but this was a couple weeks ago, and so they sent me a tracking number attached to nothing. Like it doesn't say who's shipping it; it's just a number.
Oh no.
Okay, so I emailed their customer service, and I'm like, hey, is there any better way to track my shipment? Because like this is just a number. Like you didn't attach anything to it. Like there's no link or anything. And they didn't respond. So I emailed like 2 days later. I said, hey, any update on this? And didn't respond. And so yesterday I just emailed, I ain't getting these shirts, am I? And they still haven't responded. So I just got bamboozled. I really feel like an old person. Like I feel old. Like I feel like
Yeah, you
really,
got
the teens. Yeah, I was bamboozled by some street youths, I must say, on TikTok.
They'll get you every time. These Gen Zers, man, they're up to something. You know what I'm
They're
saying?
so smart.
Yeah, I know, and they got me through eBay this time, which is just the most old head thing to do, to just shop on eBay. But I saw these socks. Actually, a guy came into the shop with them, and I was like, "Those are the most insanely sick socks I've ever seen. I need to know." He said he got them off Etsy, but they were like $20. I wasn't going to do that, but they're flame socks, and they were specifically for my Birkenstocks. Okay, they were going to be my Hot Boy summer socks. You know what I mean? And I ordered off eBay. As soon as I hit order, delivery said August 22nd. And I was like, I ordered these like a month and a half ago.
No shit.
And I said, okay, well, that's almost fall. So I guess Hot Boy Summer's over. I don't know. It was an unfortunate scene.
So I was also bamboozled by a company, but it wasn't just a random TikTok company. It was a quote-unquote well-respected company. And they still owe me a shirt, and it's Gymshark. I ordered two shirts. 2 oversized like shirts. They're supposed to be cool. I got one of them. Love it. Wear it all the time. Checked the tracking number. It's been 3 months. I checked the tracking number. It still says it's out for delivery. It says out for delivery. It doesn't say delivered. It doesn't say label has been created. It says out for delivery. So I don't know. But the thing is, when I contact them, they're like, well, it's been too long to refund. So I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do. But yeah,
I say
shout out Gymshark.
I'll go buy a couple pitchforks and we'll show up at Gymshark's door. Who's the real shark?
Go to UK.
Give me my boy's shirt.
Who's the real shark?
I'd be willing to let this go and let it go if you sponsor us on We Likey That, sponsored by Gymshark.
Yeah,
we
we
look
can make
better
it
with
all
our
of
shirts
us.
off. We look a lot better with our shirts off.
Yeah,
So don't think
We're
that
gonna
not
request-
really fit. Please sponsor
Sure,
us.
Yeah, and also we want no stringer tank tops. We just really all the oversized shirts.
Can we
is what
just
we're
stop
looking for.
making those in general? Like, what are we doing with the stringers?
Yeah, I saw a guy like he was straight up wearing a training bra at the gym the other day. Like he had just gotten this cross tattoo, which tells you a lot about
Goodness.
what he's got going on. But he had specifically bought this stringer to only go right above his nipples, and it was strung back up. Like it was skin tight. Like he had painted it on.
It's supposed to be
It was
loose,
the
brother,
worst
at least.
gym that I'd seen in a while.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
Well, my likey this week is fairly simple. It is I like the feeling of summer when everything is in motion. So one of the best things about summer at my office is people are like out of town every week. And so every week you show up and it's so chill, but it's always like something's coming down. Hey, we got something coming up. Like summer's so free. There's concerts going on here in Owensboro. We have something called Friday After 5, which I think has been rebranded to First Friday or something. But the point is, it's down by the river. You go hang out, drink, go watch bands. It's cool. Summer's awesome. I've been really into summer And part of summer for me is listening to country music.
Yeah.
T's and B's to Toby Keith. But my dislikey is the fact when it's actually not even my dislikey, it's my wife's dislikey that she pointed out to me that I also don't like. And it's when country music artists write songs about how they're famous now, but how it's not what they thought it was going to be. Two examples.
They all have one.
Yeah, like one is Maren Morris, and I don't even remember the name of the song, but in it she's like, I used to drive this old dirty Montero. I don't know how it got me anywhere. And now look at me. I'm singing on stages with all these people. But even still, I miss my hometown. I miss being that. You're famous. Like, it's really braggadocious, and I dislike it. I want to listen to country music to be about, like, drinking a cold beer, sitting on a tractor.
Your dog died.
Your dog died.
Classic tropes.
Yeah. Hunting. I don't even like hunting. I just want to hear songs about it. Like, I want to hear songs about that. I don't want to hear Luke Combs sing. Well, if I wasn't doing this, singing to stadiums of millions of people, then I would be, still singing to bars because I love music so much. But I'm famous now, so don't worry. I'm doing this. But
in Luke's defense, he did not write that song. The man that wrote that song is probably still just playing at bars. So it really meant a lot to him. And he was like, you know what, Luke, I'll sell this to you and make a bunch of money off of it if you just sing it and you already have a bunch of following. I don't know why Luke – I like Luke Combs, but he just doesn't have the look of someone who would be as big as he is.
Luke Combs, well, he does look big, but Luke Combs
come on, no fat shaming here.
Sorry. Luke Combs looks like what I imagine a Luke Combs fan would look like.
Oh, gosh.
Like, Luke Combs looked like a fan of Luke Combs. Like, if I didn't know who Luke Combs was.
Okay? I like Luke Combs.
I do, too. He's got great songs. It's just specifically that song.
I saw an interview where he was like, yeah, we factor beer prices into our tickets so that the poorest person at the concert can afford 2 beers and also be at the show.
Cool.
And he has a $25 ticket always, like,
which is awesome. Kudos to Luke.
Yeah, shout out Luke. That's great. Don't tell me about how you wish you weren't famous.
No, he's getting a fat stray here.
This is targeted.
From you not liking that particular type of song.
This is it. I'm targeting. Well, that one. That specifically, but I don't like any country song where they brag about how famous they are now. Because I want to pretend.
Fair, almost
like
every rap song is about how famous they are.
It's different. I want to listen to rap for me to be like, yeah, me too. Like, that's what I'm looking for. Country songs, I want it to be just down to earth. I don't need to hear about how, I used to. It's mostly them complaining about how it used to be and how they got to where they are, but now they're realizing a Mississippi girl don't change her ways. She needs to go back and ride her forward. No, you're rich. Be rich. It's okay. But don't brag about it and then complain about it. I don't like it. I
can see the sentiment. More on country music, though. If you just want a tearjerker of a song to blast through your audio system, go listen to Where I Find God by Larry Fleet. But don't listen to it while driving through the country, because I got to tell you, it's going to make you sob. Because he lists multiple places where he, in fact, finds God. And let me tell you, I've found God in some of those places, too. Beautiful. On the bar stool, in my living room, Sunday morning in church pew, which seems obvious. He didn't really read that. In a deer stand, in a hayfield, on the interstate back to Nashville.
Wow.
I've driven that 65 north a lot of times.
Have you ever found God?
I've definitely found the devil at a Chipotle in Hoover, Alabama, where I stopped and then immediately pooped the most aggressive poop ever. So in a way, I exorcised the demon. So I would say I found God.
I found God in those type of situations too. Relief.
So yeah. Relief. That's
relief
what it is.
And belief, brother.
Relief.
Hallelujah.
Hand in hand.
Speaking of getting spiritual, this week we have
a transition.
Segue.
That was nice. That was nice.
Yeah, shout out. So segue into our topic for today. We said we were doing it, and we did it, and I read a majority of the book.
First book since high school. Let's go. I finished it.
Wow. So
I've read a bunch of 120 pages.
144, including the introduction, if it makes you feel any better. So technically, you double.
You're putting some away, yeah.
I'm a
You're
genius.
putting some. You're smarter than you could ever dream to be. And as we jump into this, we're reading the Four Agreements, or have read it, and we're going to talk about the Four Agreements, and Cam's going to walk us through it. So, Mr. Cameron, take it away, Hoss. I don't like to call you Hoss. I don't like anybody calling anybody Hoss.
Sorry, Chief.
Sorry.
It's all good sport. Yeah, it's all right sport.
That one's tough.
It's all right, big man. All right.
Big man.
The author of this book, for those that want to read it, I don't think will inspire anyone to read this with our conversation. Maybe we will. It's Don Miguel Ruiz. Seems to be a smart man. He basically lays it out in the beginning that this is a book about the ancient teachings of the... Does anyone know how to say it?
The Toltecs?
Toltecs, yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Toltecs basically being in lieu of Mulville's last
It's also a good segue from our last episode.
Yeah, the ancient cultures. It essentially is a book about opening your mind and essentially giving your mind the opportunity to think in ways that benefit yourself as well as others. Is that a synopsis?
Yeah, that's a good synopsis. It's tight.
So
it's based from one of the. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Kurt.
I was just going to say it's based. The guy, so Don Miguel that wrote it, he's Taoist. So Taoism, Taoism. It's like a Taoist belief system because he comes at it from the idea that everything is God. And like you are God, everything around you is God, everything in existence is God. And so it's a very like, I'm going to use this terminology for it because it helped me like digest it. It's very woo-woo spiritual. Like,
right, yeah.
Probably more so than
magic and stuff.
Yes, like you are the magic. It's witch talk, man.
It's not what most of us Bible guys grew up with, right? If you're in the Bible Belt, you're not hearing a lot of teachings from the Toltecs. I'll say that.
Yeah,
almost zero.
I've never. Yeah, so,
Toltec. Is that the Mexican restaurant down off Highway 8?
Toltec, man, they keep making all these new cell phones. I don't want me a Toltec. I already got a Nokia. I might do that. I don't know.
I'm sure it's fine.
Essentially, it's a book. And I wouldn't say I'm ever going to base my religion off of this book, but it is a book about mindset, and it's a book about, as Kurt referenced, he uses like spiritual. So it's a book about creating heaven for yourself, essentially with your mindset, and also not creating hell for others, and also picking yourself up out of hell with your mindset. Because as we know, oftentimes our own minds can be our worst enemy when we overthink or we put too much thought into something that truly doesn't matter. Which has helped me a ton because I am one of those people that overthinks things from time to time. And this book really opened my perspective and really challenged me to kind of not care as much, which is really helpful for me, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it is spiritual based, but the teachings, you don't have to be super spiritual. It's more as like a way to just think in a healthier way. Yeah,
I think Cameron put it best when he said it's a mindset thing. Like, it's very practical, and you take out, like, even some of the verbiage that he uses or the jargon is very, like, he describes us as being in a dream and how we all have all these dreams and how we're making these agreements with ourselves about our dreams. And there's this mitote that's like a smoke that makes it where we can't really understand our dream. And so, like, you can get lost in that conversation when the reality of it is like the simplicity of the Four Agreements is what makes it so like visceral and life changing because it's stuff that you can apply no matter what worldview you have. Like a lot of people know this, but like I'm a pastor. So even as I was reading this, I can apply this to my life in a worldview that's a Christian worldview. And a majority of us grew up in a Christian worldview and those kind of things. So even if you didn't grow up in it or you did, like this is still very applicable and very practical, very easy to use and talk about.
I agree.
I will say, like, the Four Agreements are very simple, just phrases.
Yep.
And so, like, it's as like helpful as it is, it's also like very frustrating because it's just like a simple phrase and you're like, I can't act this out very easily.
Yeah.
So by saying that, we'll go over the Four Agreements. I have them right here.
Let's get
it. The first one is to be impeccable with your word. And the little blurb says, speak with integrity, Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in direction of truth and love. So real, like, I imagine this guy as like you sat down next to like the like brown Forrest Gump. That might be racist.
Oh my God.
He's like an Indian version of Forrest Gump. He's just super wise, and it's like everything he lays out for you has like this explanation about why it's going to benefit you and others.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He does a really good job in setting up being impeccable with your word. Because when I first read, like, if you read it, basically, which is why we highly recommend to read the book, because for us to like break it down, to be impeccable with your word sounds like it's like, well, keep your word. Like the very Southern mentality of,
right.
Well, you're only as good as your word, brother. Like you only, like if you say you're going to do something, do it. And that's a part of it, but that's so minuscule compared to what he's talking about. Like, be impeccable with your word. Make sure you are saying what you mean, and it's uplifting and encouraging and adding value to someone's life, as opposed to taking away value. Dude hates gossip. Dude hates gossip.
He not
a fan.
And he described it more as being impeccable as being without sin, which is another like, faith reference. But in reality, he's meaning that it's without any merit that is going to affect someone badly or yourself badly.
Yeah.
So that's what he means by without sin in this case. So like being impeccable is more so like you said, saying what you mean, but also saying the truth about yourself as well as others. It's kind of how I saw it.
What I thought was interesting and kind of like was interesting in my head for sure was like, our word is literally like all we have to frame what we have in this world. Like you can see things, but you can't be like, oh, that's a tree without the language in your head. Mm-hmm. So it's literally like our whole like perception of the world, of reality, of what we experience is like word, and that's like it's pretty powerful. Which is like in the Bible in the beginning was the word, that one. So it's like that is pretty interesting because I never thought about it like that when I read it in the Bible necessarily. It's like word is kind of everything to how we see this life, which is pretty interesting.
There's a beauty to it, and I think this one, the first agreement, is the one that I probably struggle with the most. Not that I don't struggle with the other three, and I think you read this book, when you read it, if you read it, like you're going to see in it like, oh, wow, I have a hard time with each of these no matter who you are. Even if you're already very positive with yourself or with others, you avoid gossip, you ask all the questions you can, you don't take things personally, like you can still grow and learn in that. Because like for me, I'm a pretty confident person, I thought. And then even as I was reading this, I was thinking through all the negative self-talk things that I tell myself. Like I'm not a very organized person, and I will say that to myself. I'm like, oh, you'll never be organized. And I've made this agreement with myself that I'll never be an organized, detail-oriented person. And the reality is like, that's not a character trait. It's a habit that I do. And so I enforce it. And then when I mess something up and someone's like, oh yeah, Kurt's not detail oriented, it adds another layer. And so I start to believe about myself, I'll never be organized. I'll never be on top of things. I'll never be able to get things done in the manner I would like to be. Like, so yeah, it's something I struggle with. And it's something that makes a lot of people miserable around you too. When you're like a self-talk, like negative person, dude, nobody likes to be around that.
I'll never be organized, so I'm just going to throw all my laundry on the floor real quick.
Yeah, that's the move.
That's the move.
I hate people in my office. I think I'm just going to throw all this stuff on your desk. I just want to see what happens.
If you go into my office at work, you would be like, your word would not be impeccable towards me. You'd be like, this is disgusting.
Pretty brutal.
You were gross, as it turns out. So
Pretty
4
impeccable.
gold stars for Kurt. He basically laid out the entire first chapter right there. Essentially, what you tell yourself is what you, quote unquote, agree with about yourself. And so this book is essentially challenging us to say different things about ourselves to therefore create new agreements with ourselves. So, Kurt, you are organized. I just broke down one of your layers of you telling yourself you're disorganized.
Smashed through that ceiling.
I now disagree with myself.
You got to break the ceiling. Oh, no. Now you're not. Now you're gossiping about yourself in your own mind.
It's so hard.
2 step forward, 1 step back. This is tough.
Before we recorded, we were all talking about how weak our chins are. I feel like
That's why I have a beard.
We're all very self-depreciating people, and part of that goes into like the comedy of it all. Is self-depreciation is like the safest and probably most accessible form of comedy because other people are like, yeah.
I was thinking that about you too, ugly.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Oh, thanks.
Like, they're like, yeah, I relate to how I feel about you too. So self-depreciation, like, listen, you're going to listen to this podcast. We're going to make fun of one another and ourselves. But know that outside of this context, and you should be better because we're trying.
We're going to try. This is
a great segue to the next agreement. Don't take anything personally. So basically, nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream, as he says. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering, which is an intense way to say other people are also as messed up as you are.
Right.
When they say something about you, it's kind of like the old school like bully thing, like where you're like, well, he's only bullying you because he's insecure. I do take issue with this one in that like as learning to not take things personally, I think is really important. But you also, the first agreement is important in this because you have to also be trying to be impeccable with your word towards others. Because you can't then expect someone else to be like, oh, well, they're not taking it personally, so I can say whatever I want. And here's just a little thing that drives me crazy. When people say, well, oh, don't take it personally, it's just criticism. Like, don't take it personally. Like, or someone, I'm just honest. That's my personality. I'm just honest and blunt. Nah, man, you're a jerk. Like, that's,
you're just
jerk.
no fun to be around.
Yeah, like, it's crazy. And then the justification is like, well, I was being honest. Well, so what? Like, you can be a jerk
honest.
and honest. They're not mutually exclusive. Like, they can happen at the same time.
You can't handle me. We just don't need to hang out. Sounds good.
Great plan.
I'm all for it. Where do I sign off on that?
I think he does talk about like that as well, like walking away or like leaving some people or whatever if you have to, because if it's not going to be healthy for you.
It's big talks,
big tox energy. Yeah,
don't want to be toxic.
So don't take anything personally. Second agreement.
Yeah,
it's a tough thing because you have to agree with yourself that you're not going to, which is just
it's hard.
Yeah, yourself is very stubborn. Doesn't want to agree with that.
Doesn't like that one.
Third, which is I feel like this is kind of the easiest one to follow through on, is don't make assumptions. But that's just because I'm not a very observant person. Like Mulvihill's head could be shaved and I wouldn't have noticed. Well, he is wearing a hat, but if it was shaved, like I wouldn't have noticed. Like I wouldn't have assumed he had lice. Like I would have just been sitting here like, yeah, it's
nice.
Okay. Well,
it's his head.
That's fine.
I'm bad about assumptions, man. Like I'm jumping to assumptions. My assumptions are even more in the realm of if I'm asking someone to do something for me, I'm terrible about it. Like we needed to we've been working on getting people to babysit our dogs, not babysit, dog sit, whatever, for next week.
They're your babies.
Fur babies.
And there's this people, I don't like them, but I love my dogs. They're suck. So the point is I'm like texting people, asking them, but it's brutal to text or even call somebody because I've already assumed that I'm like getting on their nerves. Like I saw a TikTok. I won't even ask a waiter. Like if I get the wrong thing, I'm just eating. I asked for mashed potatoes. I guess I'm going to eat broccoli because I'm not about to say anything to him because I assume that waiter is then going to be like, oh, you don't like broccoli, little baby boy, you little, and like spit in my food.
Oh, I love mushrooms and donkey sauce.
Oh man.
It's like, no wonder you're so fat. It makes sense now. It's like I don't want to take that on.
Yeah, that's what I'm
that
saying.
Can all go back to the first part. You've been telling yourself that you're wrong in your head, and now you're making assumptions that everyone else believes that. So
that's what I'm saying. The agreements do build on each other, and I think that's like important to note. Is you can't like see one of the 4 agreements and be like, I'm like that one, but I don't want to do the others. Like you can't be like, don't take anything personal because then it justifies you being mean to people, or don't make assumptions because you're like, oh, well, I'm not going to make any assumptions. You have to also be impeccable with your word and try your best not to take things personally to then not make assumptions about the
Right.
people around you or the things that are happening in your life or even about yourself.
Well, that's a good point. And same thing with like the waiters. Like I always assume there's just like chaos going back there, but maybe call back to like the first episode. Maybe he just was one of those guys that didn't write it down, and I just kind of got to tell
what a
him, or he just
loser.
wrote it down wrong. Shorthand got wrong, whatever it is, and he just didn't wrong. And he'd be like, okay, that's fine. But I'll always assume like there's just pure chaos happening behind the scenes, and I don't want to make his day worse.
As someone who's worked at a restaurant in the back, it is pure chaos, and we do hate when people sends it back. So it's not even really an assumption; it's more awful. But it is also
going to hate you either way.
their job.
Yeah.
Like the job is to fix. Like if you made someone's coffee drink wrong, Mulvey, you're gonna fix it, and you're not gonna be like, "Oh, you monster for asking me to fix it." Like you're like,
It's like that is my job. I guess I'll do
my
it.
job.
Like,
I'll do it. Yeah. No
like
one
we
has to do their
assume-
job.
It's like we assumed they were just like, yeah, we ran out of pickles, so I put radishes on your burger. Hope that's fine, and handed it to you, and just hoped you didn't notice. Like,
Right.
if they did that, you would be like, nah, please fix this.
Please fix this. I wouldn't. I would
Even
have a
Kurt, yeah,
radish
that's what I'm
burger.
saying. Like Kurt would just be like, I'm going to take these off, but I'm not going to say anything. Even though he's a pickle boy, you would be so
Love
sad
pickles.
about your pickles not being on there.
You would.
I bought some pickle seasoning off Amazon recently, and
Pickle
it
seasoning?
is fire, dude. I put it on everything. Brooke hates it, but it keeps
just
happening.
make
Ice
everything
cream.
tangy, or
It's very pickly. I'll send it to y'all. It is aggressive though. You put too much, and the roof of your mouth is singed.
Bring it to the
Oh, no.
beach. Bring it to the
I will.
beach. A foreshadow
I
of
will.
Mulvey's concoction he's going to make at the beach. We'll
oh yeah, I'll throw it on
we'll
there.
make some
I'll
content.
throw it on
We'll make some
there.
content about Mulvey's
Yeah.
little sundae he's going to make himself.
We'll also make contact.
Yeah, make contact
We'll
with that
make
pickle
contact.
seasoning.
Yep. Fourth agreement. Always do your best.
Always,
Oh.
brother. This
Oh,
one's
Always do
cheesy
your
at
best.
first, but
your
yeah.
best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you're healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstance, simply do your best, and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret.
Yeah, I like that one. I think this one's just kind of like a compounding interest for the rest of it. It's like
it's corny.
all
at
this is going to
first.
be hard to do. Yeah, all this is going to be hard to do, but you just kind of have to try each day and be like, okay, I tried. I sucked at it today. Tomorrow I'll be a little better. And I think that's kind of the gist of
That's
it.
life,
it's
baby.
just like not. Yeah, that's right.
That's
Everything's
baseball.
going to be hard at first. That's
That's
it's
baseball.
baseball. Kurt didn't learn that lesson in baseball, and he just didn't get to play.
No, soccer, you never get another inning. It's just the whole time you run. And
It's just
you're
90
One
minutes
long
of hell. You're just
one
sprinting.
long
it's
inning.
awful. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's good for me because like I'll just like mess up one time or something, but like I suck at this, or it's always going to be terrible. And it's just like, no, you just got to keep trying. Like it's okay to suck. Like you're going to suck at everything you start. You just life is progress, baby. You just get a little better.
I think that I will say I think us three are more resilient than we give ourselves credit for on doing our best because we played Call of Duty every night and got just absolutely curb stomped by the people by
By some
11-year-olds.
12-year-old, yeah.
Just wrecked us. And every night we were like, no, we're going to get better. Like we're getting better. I'm getting better. And we haven't and we aren't, but we try our best. And Brooke, my wife, is the exact opposite of try your best. So like for her, and this is
Try
not
your worst.
she always wants to be the best.
Right.
And for example, she started to play Fall Guys the other day. We talked about it last episode. She started playing Fall Guys. She loved it. But then she lost and she was like, this sucks. It was a terrible game.
I want to
She
try
wants
my
to be
best, but I
good.
want to be the best 1 second into it.
Immediately. Yeah.
Right.
And that's her. And she would tell you that herself. And she's even worked on that in different things. Like being a parent, you learn very quickly that you will not be the best immediately. When I'm on the other side of that, where I'm like, dude, I'm bad at this. That means I can get addicted to it and obsessed with it.
Right.
And I can try my best. And so I think there's an unhealthy version of that. But the healthy version is just do what you can, man. 'Cause
Yeah. Get better.
Either
at
we
the
were
game.
trying our best, or we just
Struggling.
hated ourselves.
struggle.
There was something wrong with us, our image of ourselves, because we just punished ourselves
Right.
every night playing a game
Gosh.
that children were just slaughtering us at.
it's a
Right.
game and we're like not having fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Never had. I mean, like
Exactly.
2 seconds of fun per night.
Trying to get
Yeah.
that hit.
Anything
Gotta
else
get a
on the
little
book,
bit.
boys? I do
Listen to
recommend
it.
this book. It changed my perspective on a lot of things,
Yeah.
I would say. Definitely frees up the mind a little bit. And even though I wouldn't say I'm like, chilling at the at the Hindu temple levitating while being real focused with rocks and stuff. I am a much more loosey-goosey version of myself these days after reading it because I don't take anything personally, man. I do my best. I don't make assumptions. And I wouldn't say I'm impeccable with my word just yet. I think that's the hardest one to master.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the base, really, of it all. Because
we're doing our best. Bottom line.
I struggle a lot with like anxiety or really disassociation, and it doesn't help with phones. Like, you know, social media for like 30 minutes, and you look up and you're like, oh yeah, this is reality. Yeah, I struggle with that, and I think a big thing he says at the beginning is just awareness of all of this, that like what's going on, just actually being able to recognize it. I think that's good for me, like drawing from reality, being like, okay, I am here, you know, I'm looking at this, I can be aware that I'm messing up on those things so that I can work on it. Because I'll just, you know, spiral and be like, okay, I'm messing up, I just keep spiraling down, and it's like a trap for me. So I can just recognize that now, be aware, and take those steps.
And doing the 4 agreements, when you're actively trying to be impeccable with your word, not make assumptions, do your best, don't take things personally. Like you said, Mulvey, it makes you present.
Right.
It forces you to be present in conversations where maybe at one point you wouldn't have been because you didn't necessarily care what your word came across as, or you didn't know to care what your word came across as.
You're just floating through life. Yeah.
You're just floating. So like it does give you a presentness in conversations and in relationships. And it's even thinking about the way that I say something to my wife, or why I say what I say, or why I do what I do. It changes from a base level everything about relationships in life. So yeah, I would agree. I think it's a good book. I'd give it 4 out of 4 agreements.
4 out of 4. No,
5 cheeks.
I'd have to agree.
5 cheeks. 5 cheeks flat.
I will. Yeah,
yeah,
I would
like
say
that.
I would recommend it to really anyone. Like Kurt said in the beginning, it's not trying to change your beliefs. It's just trying to change your mindset.
That's right. Drip is a mindset. Remember that.
Drip,
Yeah,
drip or drown.
As long as you just stay push and pee, I think you'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a good moment we all just
agree.
had, boys. We actually had a serious
That was
conversation about something that
was
on
weird.
paper.
It's a rare
I like
moment
it.
from us.
It
Yeah.
was weird. I liked it though.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get a little less serious and talk about what we've been vibing to.
Vibes.
Oh, we vibey and we vibey, man.
I
Pass the touchy from the...
on the left hand side.
I've been vibing to Journey again because of Stranger Things.
Oh,
We
that
vibed this
remix.
week is the
Oh,
remix.
dude,
So nice.
Oh, my God.
Someday love will find you.
That was an experience. I haven't had goosebumps like that in so long, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know
Journey
it's just a
separate
bunch
ways.
of nerdy kids going to fight a not real thing, but good grief, was I like on
was revved
another
up.
level of just, I was revved up. I was hot and bothered by that scene.
It was good, man. I will say there's some problems with Stranger Things season 4. If you haven't seen it, you're gonna want to skip this part. But the way that a certain character goes out, they could have. Why didn't they just put the amp on the roof and play it from the inside? But the
I
point
think
is,
he's
it was
coming
sick.
back. I think he's going to be a vampire.
I was just about to say that. I saw it on TikTok.
I would
I
like
think
that.
Eduardo
I'd be cool with
will
that.
be back.
I
Oh,
hope
yeah.
so.
He's a good
Hope
dude.
so.
He didn't deserve that fate.
Well, Eduardo is also the name of Argyle's real actor. So
Oh,
could
really?
Be very, could be.
He'll be
Argyle.
back for sure. He was a hit.
Oh yeah, dude, he was awesome.
He was pure vibes. Speaking
He's
of vibes.
schmacking, dude.
I want to
speaking
eat
of
at Surfer
lingo,
Boy Pizza
schmacking.
so long. Dude, I've been
Yeah.
wanting to eat at Surfer Boy Pizza since the first epi.
Schmacking. He says schmacking all the time.
They
I
have-
love
they
it.
ha-
Schmacking.
At Walmart, they have Surfer Boy pizza that you can buy in the frozen
It's not
section.
gonna be the same.
It's
I
just
won't-
a Giorno.
It's not going to be
repackaged, I'm
good,
sure.
Yeah.
but dude, the way that he was just making that pizza while they were all preparing for like this intense
Yeah.
thing.
So sick.
It's like my boy
Yeah.
putting in work
Dude.
with his homies.
The pizza couldn't look better. Yeah, it
Love
was
it.
nice.
Love it. He does his real hair too, which is crazy.
Oh, yeah, I've seen him in interviews. Yeah.
Apparently,
Yeah.
he's not acting. Like that's just who he is in real life.
I
That's
love
awesome.
it. I love it. He tried out for Eddie. Fun fact. Like he tried out for
Oh, really?
Yeah, that wouldn't
Not
work.
it.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he's a
When
pizza
the-
boy through and through.
Brooke did remind me that all of these people in Stranger Things, and even another show that I've been binging and love, it's Brooke's favorite show, is The Boys. But she reminded me recently that these were all theater kids in high school, and it's really broken my brain to think about. She was like, these were not cool people. You realize that, right?
Crazy.
And I was like, oh no. But no, it's awesome. I love it. I don't like how many of them are British. Wish less of them were British.
Where are all the
freaks
American
me out.
actors? Like, do we
I
just
don't
not
know.
have anyone?
I guess
If this was the Olympics and acting was in it, we would be last.
we'd be last. Everybody's
Yeah.
British. The Brits.
That would
have
be
taken
great.
over.
That would be the Brits' only medal. I'll say that at least.
Yeah.
At least
Right.
we're more athletic.
I agree.
That and having the largest Adam's apples. That's why they can't breathe very well.
That makes
That's
sense.
why never mind. I'm not going to.
Yeah, I wouldn't go there.
I'll transition to my vibe of the week.
What up, Mulvey?
It's a little band called Future Birds. Holy smokes! It's a band
Ooh, I
called Future
love
Birds.
Future Birds.
Yeah, I did
Yeah,
like
they kind
them.
of sound. They kind of sound like I look today. If you just want to picture that, but kind of grungy, alt country, punk country, whatever you want to call it. But
It's like psychedelic too. It's like dream country.
yeah, they have a range for sure. And their song "College Try," I think it's off their newest album, but it is absolutely fire. I've been listening to it nonstop. Yeah, give that one a look see. But just in general, Future Birds is one of my favorite bands, and yeah, they
Would
do
you
good work.
describe them as y'alternative?
Y'alternative. That's what I
That's
was
dope.
looking for. That's exactly what it is.
Y'alternative.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that's it. That's on the money.
Well,
Alright,
this
Cam-
ain't
Cam requested-
this ain't
Yeah,
y'all
there it is.
alternative, man. But this sure enough is y'all. All right, so we're going to the beach, brothers, and I got a song to set the mood. Everyone here, we'll see you next
Keep
week.
getting this copyright struck. We're gonna have to bleep this.
We're gonna
It's
have to have a new
knee-deep.
YouTube channel soon.
By Zach Brown Band.
Oh yeah,
We'll
this
see
one
you
is
at the beach
very,
next
very
week.
beach. This one is very much a beach.
We're
vibe.
gonna be there in person. The first
In the
ever
flesh.
live pod.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a good transition.
We will. In fact, next week, just heads up, we're going to be at the beach doing a live pod. We're going to
You
have
want me to
some
keep this
special
rolling, or you
guests.
want me to stop it?
I would prefer it stopped because it's going to be. I got to cut out a lot right
It was
here.
kind of a sick little outro. Okay, I don't know what
No.
to say. We can't use it, but
No, but I can find some beachy music. No, I'm not. I'm going to use our regular stuff. I don't know why. I even
This is a
pretend like I'm gonna do
brand.
extra. It's a brand. So next week at the beach, Cam said it. We're live pod in the actual stew, the
somehow
physical
we don't know how
stew.
we're gonna do it, but somehow
We're going to figure something out. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of people. It'll be me, Cam, and Mulvey. Obviously, JM Ross is jumping back in.
Jumping
we had
back in.
a lot of good feedback, actually, on JM. A lot of people liked him.
Yeah,
for
Josh did a
whatever
great job,
reason.
brother.
John
Shout out to
Music,
you.
Shout
John
out.
Music, baby, come on.
John Music Ross,
John Music Ross.
John
And
Mayer Ross.
He'll be there, and we'll have
Yeah.
other friends. We've got some interesting people in our lives that have some interesting things to say, and it's going to be live. It's going to be fun. Vibes will be good. We'll all be nice and kissed by the sun. Me and Cam will be red as lobsters. Good shot.
I'll be
And
right
Mulvey-
there with
Mulvey's
you.
pretty red.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
all
not a
pale
tan
people.
group.
Very fair skinned individuals.
We are tan. Stop. We are tan.
Yeah, my
Well,
bad.
one
brother,
day
we're
all
tan.
these bad boys
We're
on my
tan.
arm, these frecks are gonna connect, and I'm gonna look like an Adonis.
Same,
Yeah.
baby. We're
Be
going to
a
be
freckle shield.
Freckled up,
year-round
baby. I'm
tan,
freckles.
son.
Freckles.
I'm
They're
not-
angel kisses.
I'm not super tan. I mean, I'm definitely not super tan. I'm not super freckly most of
Stating
the time,
obvious there,
but
Mulfs.
it's pretty clear. I'm pretty pink as it goes, you know. But when
Yeah,
I
you
go
got
in the
that raw
sun,
chicken.
You do have a pink hue.
you did have to. That was a stray, my guy. I was not looking.
That's stray. Don't take it
Fat
personally.
stray. Sorry,
Don't take
you're
it
right.
personally.
Sorry, fam. You know
but
I'm
yeah, when I
red.
go, oh, I know, I got you, baby. When I go in the sun, my freckles come out. So next week I'll be joining you boys.
Let's go.
Freck
Get
town.
freckly. Get
Let's
frecked
do
up, fam.
Heck yeah, brother.
Boys.
Oh,
Alt.
Oh,
Alt. Well, it's been a fun
on
ride.
a fire pod. You know what I mean?
Anything else?
no, I just
That's
think
all I got.
really what we should do at the end of the day, we should all look at each other and just cue the outro music.
Love it. Cue it. Hit it.
Looking at you.
Skibbity bop bop bee. Skibbity boop 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 boop. Skibbity bop bop bee.
Boom, boom, boom.